Welcome to DevOps Pilot. Today we'll see Git part 2. Go to devopspilot.com, DevOps roadmap, and scroll down. We'll go to part 2. Okay. So today we'll see how to create private repository. So last time we saw like how to create the public repository. So today we'll see how to create private one. So last time when we created this first project, so if you go here, so you can hear it's clearly mentioned whether this is a public or private repository. If it is a public repository, anybody can download this particular repository. Like they can download the source code. Like it's visible for everyone in this world. And but they will not able to write or push any changes to this particular repo, but they will able to download. But in private, nobody will able to even download, and even nobody will be able to write it to that particular repo. Okay, so we'll quickly just see. So this first one, so since this is a public repo, let's go to HTTPS and copy git clone. And so it has cloned, right? So now, so this is the first project you created, you're able to download. So you haven't done any authentication, or you didn't put any username password. So since this is public, anybody can download. Even you can also just download without any authentication process. Okay, so we can go to this first project, and here we can see just it has one readme file and .git file. Okay, let's clear the screen and let's remove this first project. So we'll see now how to create the private repo. So click on new, and then let's put private hyphen repo private project. Okay, it's available. So now here we need to change this to private. So only you choose who can see and commit to this repository. And let's add a README file for this one and create repository. So once it's done, so now here it still private. So even nobody now will be able to download this one. Even you will not able to download without authentication. So you go to HTTPS copy, go to terminal, git clone, and paste the URL. So you created this private project, enter. So now it's telling you, it is asking for username. So even you also will not able to clone without the authentication process. So you need to put your username and the token. Okay. So now to authenticate to this one, right, we have two approaches. One is called using the personal access token. So basically you will get one kind of token, so that you need to put it and you can authenticate. And another is the using the SSH public and private key. If you go to this terminal, so here you will see two options to download. One is HTTPS and one is SSH and GitHub CLI. So that is different. So we will leave for now. So with this HTTPS, you need the token. So then only you will be able to clone the source code, or you can push the code. So and second type, we will see how to use SSH key. So using this one, you no need to put the password. We will upload the public key, and then you will be able to do. So first we'll see how to use the HTTPS using the private token. So even though this we have seen last time, so let's go to settings and then developer settings and then personal access token, tokens classic. And then here you can generate new token and classic. So let's put test token, and then expiration based on your requirement you can put, but for now I'll just set my to, let's delete it immediately after tomorrow. And then you need access to only through repository. You want like public repo, private repo, everything you want to read access, and then generate token. This token will be shown only one time, so copy and keep it somewhere. Otherwise, you need to regenerate the token. You will not be able to copy the token. Okay. So now let's go to the terminal. So it's asking for the username. So username is DevOps Pilot 2. Enter, and it's asking for password. Um, okay. So you can clone once again. Username is DevOps Pilot 2. Correct. DevOps Pilot 2. Enter. Copy the token. Yeah, it worked. Now it is able to download the source code, right? So since if it's a private repo, you need to even for download, you need to authenticate, then only you will able to download. So we have seen one way, like using the HTTPS URL, you need to put username and password and you are able to clone. Okay, so similarly, we'll do just a write access also. So CD private repo. Let's create one file. Oh, hello, hello.txt. Okay. And now we have created this additional file. Now if we check git status, it's telling we have created this file and this is not tagged yet. So we need to put git add and then hello.txt. So now if we check git status command, this file has been tagged now. Now we need to commit this file. So comment git commit -m, which is for to telling some message, add a new file hello.txt, enter. Okay, so now we have committed. Now, and now you want to push this code to your remote repo. Basically, you want to push to this remote repo. Currently, we go to this private project. You have only readme file, no other file is there. But now we can push git push, enter. So every time when you do full cloning or every time if you push, right, using this approach, you need to every time type your username and password, but this is not very convenient, right? So that's why we'll use the second authentication type, which is SSH. So now for this one, so I need to put up a username and password, and let me push. Oops, I need to and let me copy my account. Okay, yeah. So now I put the token and then it is able to push. Now if we go here and refresh the screen, now you can see hello.txt file is pushed, which is 1 minute ago, which was the creator timestamp. So similar, like every time you can just download and then you can write new files and you can push the code. But the problem here is like every time you need to like put your username and password. So for this, we have the second approach. So while cloning, so you have to choose SSH. But to use this one, it's telling you don't have the public SSH key in the GitHub account. You need to first add the public key, otherwise you will not be able to use this feature. For this, in your Linux machine or in Windows machine, first you have to generate the SSH public and private key. Let me come out of this folder, clear my screen, pwd. So I'm in /home/ubuntu. So we already seen how to generate the public and private keys. So let's go to .ssh folder, and here we can see currently only authorized keys file is there. There is no public or private keys. Let me generate the keys. SSH -key gen command. You can just enter, and it is going to generate the public and private key. It is going to store in my /home/ubuntu under .ssh folder and ID_RC. This is my private key. And it has the password, so I'm not setting any password. And enter, and even it has generated one public file also. Now if I do ln, so I got two files. This is my private key and this is my public key. So we need to copy this public key and we need to put it into our target. So our target is basically now the GitHub. So now if you add this one, your this particular Linux machine will be able to properly connect to that GitHub website. Like even you can just clone or you can push. So no password is required. So using this public key and this private key, it will be able to do the authentication and it will be able to pull and it can able to push. Okay, so now first we need to copy this public key. So make sure you're copying the public key only. Don't reveal your private key anywhere. I've copied my public key. Now go here. Now we need to copy. So let's go to settings Left side you will see SSH and GPG keys. So our thing is like SSH keys. So we'll go inside, and under SSH keys, you need to add new SSH key. And inside this key box, you need to paste your content. And title, you can just keep your name or your desktop name like that. So for now, I'll just keep text, add SSH key. Okay. Now I added my SSH key, so which is added here. Now if I go back, so same private project, but this time we have to use SSH instead of HTTPS. The only thing, the URL will change a little bit. So if you go to HTTPS, it starts with HTTPS colon double slash, but if SSH, it's like git@github.com and your username slash your project name. Copy. Let's go to terminal, cd enter, and into home directory, clear my screen. So already we have this private project, right, which we have used HTTPS using the username and password. So let's keep it. Don't touch that one. I will show how to work with that later. So before that, we will do clone separately. Let me create. So in the same folder, I cannot clone because both are in same name. So let me create one folder in KDA. Um, put test. Okay, so let's just getting on test folder. That's it. Okay. So now I have this test folder. I will go inside this test folder. Now we will type git clone, and but this time I'm cloning inside my test folder, not in the home folder. Okay. And then you need to copy and paste your SSH URL. So go to SSH and then copy and then paste. So only thing, so it starts with git, so that this is the SSH URL. So now enter. So now this will ask for only yes for first, and since it both the keys has to properly unencrypt. So now you can see it didn't ask for username and password. Since we used the SSH approach and we have already uploaded our public key. So from our local machine from .ssh folder, it will take your private key and it is able to authenticate and it's able to download. And now in this, we have cloned this private. And after this, so we will see. So last time we have pushed this hello.txt. Now we will edit this file hello.txt from, let's go using SSH keys. Okay, I have just made some changes. Now you can run git diff commands to see what change you have did. So I'm just added some line, and then you can do git status command to check which file you have modified. I modified the hello.txt. Now you can run git as dot and then git status. So now it's showing in green color, which means it is added. Now we can commit git commit -n. So till git commit, your file is not pushed. It's perfectly in your local. It's not yet pushed. Okay. Git commit updated hello.txt using SSH keys. So just simple. Okay. So till now your file is not pushed. Okay. Even you can refresh the screen. So when we run the git push command, then only your file will be updated. Otherwise, it will not. So since it's having only the single line, it's not yet updated. And so now you can run git push or push. Okay. So now it will not ask for you like a username or password, nothing. It uses your keys and it's able to push. Fine. So and refresh. Now you can see it's just updated now. Hello.txt. You can see now second line is added. So like this, you can just add your keys and you'll be able to pull or push without the username and password. Okay. So now we'll see how so where actually we have cloned this repo, right? But in my local system, how it knows like which URL it has to pull this changes, where it is tracking these details. Okay. So this is how the clone repo, right? Under this one hidden folder will be there. So last time, so this .git folder, right? So this we call it as a local Git repository. Okay. So these are your actual files which is shown in your system, and this is a local Git repository, so where it tracks all your differences, and it will try to store everything there. And if you go to this .git folder, there are a lot of files details, which is like we don't know much details, but the important thing is like we need to understand about this config file. If you do cat config, here only it tracks all those details like remote. So our local means our this one, remote means our this GitHub. So generally we call this is a remote repository. So this remote repository, which URL it has to go. So those details has been properly stored here. So URL equal to and git at the rate github.com and your account name and your project repository name. So like this, it's just tracking where it has to put. But since under this test, I have used the SSH approach, so it is having git at the rate github.com. If you have used HTTPS, then it will have HTTPS. Okay. So now I am coming out of this test folder. Okay, pwd. I'm in /home/ubuntu. Okay. So now this is the last one, right, which we have cloned using HTTPS. Let's go and see how it looks. So I'm in /home/ubuntu private project. So here one .git folder is there, cd.git, and here we have the config file, cat config. Since this for cloning we have used HTTPS, so it's properly showing HTTPS. Okay. So now, but still from here, if you do any changes, still it will ask for your username and password. But in some scenario, let's say you have already cloned using HTTP, but you want to convert this into the SSH key, right? So how to do that one? So currently this is like HTTPS, which will ask for username and password. So I will show you. Let me clear my screen and then come out of this .git folder. So make sure you are already out of your .git folder to make the changes and like push all your changes. So now here, right, cat hello.txt. So this is the old one, right? So it's having only the single line. Second line is not present. But in my remote repository, it is there. So to download the changes, you have to run git pull command. But this will not take log. It will ask for your username and password. But how to resolve this one? Like basically, I want to currently this is using HTTPS, but I want to change this to SSH URL. So you can just put enter, and then you can go to .git, just ca config, and then just edit this URL and change to git at the rate. You can just copy or paste, or if you already know the URL syntax, you can just put it. So here, if you go to SSH, it starts with git at the rate github.com. So git at the rate github.com, and then almost remaining thing will be same. That's it. So now this is the HTTPS, but I'm changing to SSH. I'm saving this file. Okay. See, I'm still in that private repository only. Let me come out of this .git folder pwd. Okay, same thing. But now I will do git pull. It will not ask for username and password. Awesome. It is something git and to debug does not appear to be git repository. Could not read from remote repository. Sure, I guess some mistake is here in the URL. Okay, github.com and then colon vi.git config. Okay, so better to copy paste so you will not make these silly mistakes. Let me clear my screen and then git pull. Okay, so now it's not asking any username and password, but it used your SSH keys and it able to pull. Okay, so like this, even you can convert your local HTTPS repository into your SSH type of like to authentication. Okay, so now we have like saw like what are the two types of authentication and what is local repository, right? We quickly that small diagram also like we almost know now. First, I want to just show what is the remote and versus local repository. Remote repository means basically this repository in github.com, whatever the repository you are creating, that we generally call it as a remote repository. Local repository means So this box, right? So this box is your local computer. Maybe you can custom my laptop also. In this one, but instead of this hello world, I created as a private project, right? So that I have cloned. And under that, your .git folder will be there. That is the hidden folder. In Linux, anything starts with dot is a hidden folder that we tell it as a local repository. So there, Git try to track all your changes as a diff. It tries to store what branches you have created, what is the uh, commit message you're creating. Everything is just to try to track and keep it here. And on top of that, like what are the files you're creating, it try to show in the local system. So basically your remote repository, your local repository, and your local file system or the local files. So basically we tell it in three types. Okay. And then next. So now we already got this, the basic information about this config file also, cat config. Okay. So now there is two things, the code. So this part you can leave, not much important. So one is this one. So remote, like where is your remote? And we are giving some alias name. Basically to this URL, you are giving some name. So maybe for my name is like Vignesh, right? So when somebody see, so they will call me as a Vignesh, right? So similarly for this URL, they are just giving some alias names. So another name you can think. So they are just given as origin, but you can give any name. You can just edit and you can type whatever you want. But by default, it's like origin we use. And now one more thing we will see branch. By default, it's under main branch. We'll see what is branching. Let's go to private repository. And here you can see, right? So this part, so it's telling my main branch, right? So whenever you create any repository, now in GitHub by default, it creates one branch called main. Okay. Why this branching is necessary means in the same repository, you can have two different set of code by different branches. Okay, currently here it's showing like one branch only. In one branch, I am having two files, okay, readme.md and hello.txt. Similarly, you can create one more branch also. So let's say I'm creating one branch here, like test. I'm creating one branch. So it's going to test from branch. Basically, it will copy all the content from my main branch and it is going to create one more branch test. Uh, uh, okay, it is creating. So now here you can see, right? So if you click down, so I'm having two branches. My main is the default branch, and I have created one more branch test. So if you go now anywhere, you will see both the changes. In main, I have two files, and in test, I have two files. Okay, but I will try to add one more file here. Like in test branch, I'm just adding one more file, create new file, uh, test.txt. Like this is you can just create a file here and you can type the content. Hello, new branch. Okay, so new branch, commit changes, and then commit directly to test bench. So here in local, we will put git commit -m some messages, right? So you can give the message from UI also. This is very convenient. But for small changes, you can use the this UI. But if you're doing a lot of big changes like some 50 lines or underlines, it's better to use the local system because you'll be writing a lot of code and it will take some time and you will be doing some test cases also. You'll be testing those code. So like small changes, you can just do it in UI itself. So commit directly to test branch because I have created this test branch. I'm just directly committing there. Okay, done. So now here it's having three files. Okay, but it's having in the branch test. Let me go to the previous view. So here now it's okay, changed to main branch. In main branch, we have still two files only, but in test branch, we have three files. So test.txt, which is created now. So using this branching concept, you can have n number of branches, like how many branches you want, you can have different branches, and you can have different files within that branch. We will use a single repository only, but you can have different branches. So you can have different files in that your branches. The use case I will tell in like an extra sessions. There is very good use cases and all is there. So if we click on this branches, now it's telling we have the main branch and then test branch, and currently the active also is the test branch because the last change we have did there. Okay, and even from here you will able to create new branches and yours. It's test. active all branches, and then we have these two, main and test branch. So similar, like if you want like any branches, you can just keep on creating, and then you can have different code within this itself. Okay. But okay, in the UI way, we have seen now two branches like main branch and test branch. But in local, how to check these branches? The command for that is git branch. If you type this one, so it will show in local currently you are in which branch. So currently you are in main branch and it will show start. So you are in that specific branch. But in GitHub repo, we have created the new branches that is not showing in my local system because that's done in that GitHub website itself. It's still not available in my local system. For that, you have to run this command called git fetch -all. So it will download all your branches created in that remote to your local. So it's telling in your GitHub website, you have created this new branch test and it's like downloaded to your local system also. Now, if you run this git branch command, it's telling git main, okay, git branch -a, okay. Key branch hyphen, okay, it is now. Okay, so in my local, it is telling main branch is there, and then in my remote, it is having these two branches. One is main, and then test. Okay, so in the local, if you run git branch, means it will show the current branch, and then -a means all the branches, which is in your local plus the branches which is created in your remote repository. So remote repository, we generally show it as like this origin, and then this main and the test. Okay, so we have those two branches, but in local it's showing only main. So you can change the branch, but currently I'm in main branch, so that let me come out of this git repository. So I'm in main branch so that I'm just able to see only these two files, but I will change to, so that for changing the branch, the command is git checkout and the branch name. Branch name is test. I want to change to test branch, enter. So it's telling branch test setup track and then switch to new branch test. So I change to test branch now. To verify, git branch, enter. So now it's changed, right? So basically in the local, it is now having showing two branches, but currently it is a test branch. And if you do ll command, you see we have three files. Now you can do this change and you can push to test branch also. Now I will go back to main branch and automatically you will see what this test file will be deleted. So this is the Git technology. Using it, you can easily switch to multiple branches and you can see different files in the different branches. So now git checkout main. So last time test is showing in star because I'm in test branch. Now if I'm going to main branch, git checkout main. And now if I ll command, you can see it's showing only two files. So Git is just very quickly just it knows like in this specific branch it has only two files. It will try to remove all other things and it will show only those two files to us in our local system. So similar in the UI, in the local also you can differentiate like how many branches you can see, and then you can just what are the files inside the branches you can just easily see. Okay, and yeah, and then finally git branch -a. Here you can see. So now in the local, we have switched to main branch. So that's why it's showing star. And in other things, it's like showing this, just the remote repository. Okay.